Hi there, it's Pete from Hermitage Road. Welcome back to the layout after Christmas and the New Year. Hope you all had good Christmas, good New Year. What I'm featuring tonight is a S&D 7F280 freight locomotive. Now these were specific to the S&D. They were built to cope with very steep gradients of 1 in 50 and also heavy coal trains to the Somerset coalfields. They were designed by Sir Henry Fowler in 1914, and there was a second batch built in 1925. The second batch had larger boilers, but eventually even these were replaced with the smaller boiler, the same as the first ones. They lasted till 1964, and the S&D were looking for a replacement for them in the early 60s because they were pretty well worn out. And they tried several Western Region locomotives, including the 5600 062 tank, thinking that because they worked in the Welsh valleys with coal trains, they'd be good. But unfortunately, they just weren't very good for this sort of line. The stopping power was poor, and they struggled with traction, being a small locomotive. They then tried a WD 280, and this was even worse. The brakes on it were terrible because few people knew that the S&D 280s were equipped with Ferodo brakes, or brake shoes, which gave far more braking power. And one of them nearly ran away on the S&D. They did manage to stop it in time with a test train. So they carried on looking about. Eventually, they were replaced by the Stanier 8F 280s. These seemed to be doing very well, did very well on the railway and outlasted the line effectively. Some of them were withdrawn, but most of them were transferred somewhere else when the line closed. When they were withdrawn, the last one was 53807, two of them were sent from the scrap mine down to Barry, and I went down with a working party to help out restoring 53808, which was preserved together along with 53809, and we were down there to prepare it to be towed to its new home, which at the time was Radstock, but later became the West Somerset Railway, and then on to another line afterwards. But we were down there and we were trying to clean up the bearings. We took off the outer brake housings, and we were there with sandpaper trying to clean up all the rust on them so that they didn't get hot box when they were being towed back. And also I had an unenviable job of going inside the water tender and scrubbing out with a wire brush all the rust and then putting it in a bucket and getting it out. It was a filthy job, and I think I was only chosen to do it because I was one of the slimmest there and could fit through the hatch on the tender. These two are the Bachmann models. They're a few years old now, and but they're still a good runner, and I quite like them. And if you watch behind, you'll now see their replacement in a Stanier 8F. This is the Hornby version, just coming into view now with a coal train. I'm not quite that impressed with the Hornby one. It's not the greatest of runners. I'm hoping they're going to update it like they've done to the Black 5, but we'll see. These engines, although they were shedded at Bath, were actually maintained basically at Derby, where they used to go there for a heavy general overhaul, and sometimes they'd run past Mansfield Station, which is where I live, or near to it, and up the line towards Gloucester and then up to Derby. And at one point, I remember when the turntable at Bath Green Park was out of action and they couldn't turn any locomotives, or not the bigger ones anyway. And they used to send them up to Mansfield and they'd be turned on a triangle there and then go back. And they'd used to hook up about 4 locomotives to take them to in a train to turn them. The two you see here are 53808 5809, which is one of the preserved ones, and 53810 in weathered condition. I actually prefer the weathered condition. I like filthy locomotives for some strange reason. But I think they're good anyway. Well, that's going to conclude tonight's video. Hope you're all well, and if you could like, subscribe, share and comment. I always welcome comments, and thank you very much and good night.